Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber The King Centaur, I am playing his Jeskai control deck. Control is not unusual in this modern format. There's a lot of blue-white based decks that use Kahira or Yorion as their companion. They play a bunch of Solitudes and grind out with Planeswalkers. This version dips into red for some extra removal. I think most versions have red mana to get their prismatic endings up to 3, but the commitment to Fire Ice, Lightning Bolt, and the sideboard Ragavans is a little different. I haven't seen that personally. I mean, I'm not like super entrenched in Modern right now, but I have not run into this sort of thing in the queue before. The rest of the shell does look pretty standard. Spreading Seas is really popular right now. It is basically Sinkhole on Urza Saga, and it's really good at controlling the greedy mana bases in Modern. Also busts up Tron. 4 Counterspell, 4 Archmage Charm, all standard stuff. The 6 Planeswalkers, 2 Little Teferi, 2 Jace, 2 Big Teferi. I like that spread. I love me some Big Teferi. I'm really excited to cast this card today. Of course, Shark Typhoon, one of my invitational cards. If I got an invitational card, I would just remake Shark Typhoon. Tons of removal, 4 Prismatic Ending, 2 Solitude, 2 Supreme Verdict. Archmage Charm is sometimes removal. The 2 Teferis and Jace are also sometimes removal. 2 Lightning Bolt, 3 Fire Ice, Snapcaster Mage to do it all again. This is a very classic control deck. Our job is to stay alive until Teferi or Jace can take over, and then we eventually win somehow. Sideboard has pretty hateful stuff, which I like this way to construct a sideboard in Modern. Just a set of serious bangers for various matchups. Like Rest in Peace and Sanctifier just shut down the graveyard decks, including Is It Murktide? And that deck still has Ragavan in it, but shutting down Murktide Regent, or slowing down Murktide Regent, and Dragon's Rage Channeler, both a big deal. Ashiok is primarily for Amulet Titan. That's the deck that searches its deck the most aggressively, and it doubles as graveyard hate. Mystical Dispute for Blue Mirrors, Flusterstorm for combo and Blue Mirrors. And I love this Ragavan juke. After seeing game 1, basically no creatures, people board out their removal, and then surprise, here's Ragavan, goes coast to coast against various decks that don't have enough removal in their deck anymore. Classic creature out of the sideboard strategy in a control deck. And there's one Cleansing Nova, which is a sick card that I've not seen registered in the list before. You choose one, destroy all creatures, or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. That's really great against the Saga-based artifact decks. It's really great against Enchantress, or it's just a 3rd Supreme Verdict against the creature decks. Cool piece of tech there. I hope that gets to come up. And that's the deck. Let's draw cards and kill people. I'm on the play in round 1. I don't believe I can keep this 1-lander. There are 24 lands in this deck, which actually seems kind of low for a Modern control deck. But I'm definitely not going to rely on my draw step to find them. This one I can keep. I'm going to send Solitude. I don't have a white card to pitch for it, and we're thousands of years away from casting that card. Lead on Flooded Strand with the intention of fetching Rockrin Triome. Uh-oh. Well, kind of wish that I had kept that Solitude. Solitude lines up a lot better against Primeval Titan than Lightning Bolt does. I'm just going to play my Steam Vents tapped. I'm not going to pretend I have something when I don't. Oh god. 3 mana. We can play Dryad and then play a land again. Not even close to Bolt Snap Bolt. I mean, I guess I'm kind of close to Bolt Snap Bolt, but not really. Second Amulet is fucked up. All right, Little Teferi might buy me a little bit of time here. I can bounce Dryad, though they still have easy access to Primeval Titan here if they had a land drop. Okay, that's not a very good land drop. Okay. Got pretty lucky there that they had 2 lands that don't make green. Need a counterspell. Shit. Oh, we plus this one. I can play Jace and try to YOLO Brainstorm into Solitude. There's only 2, though. Bolt, Snap, Bolt. I actually do have that up, and that can kill Primeval Titan. We managed to bridge that gap, at least. Does Bolt, Snap, Bolting the Dryad? Is that better? I guess Primetime just gets Valakut, and I get roasted by that also. I think Bolt, Snap, Bolt is my best bet here. Oh, cool. They're just going into combat. They have nothing. How do you have nothing? Lightning Bolt. Snapcaster Mage. And I am going to finish off the Dryad with Bolt. I could block with Snapcaster and then Bolt their face, but I think Snapcaster is going to do more over time than bolting face. Okay. I don't know if we've turned the corner yet, but we're approaching it. It is Teferi time. I don't know if they're missing a green source or if they are just actually without a Primeval Titan. I suspect they're missing a green source. Just going to get a basic here. If I can untap one more time with these Teferis, I'm going to feel really good. Because then I can Supreme Verdict at instant speed. Alright. Come on now. Don't hurt me. Alright, they're just making a construct that probably means they're going to try to pick up. That was weird. Why did they do it like that? Okay, now we're in action. We can plus little Teferi, plus big Teferi. Spreading sees the Saga. That kills Saga and I draw a card. Now Solitude's in my hand. Okay, folks. We're getting there. I'm gonna chump Construct for a turn with Snapcaster probably. And then Jace can bounce the Construct and then it's gone. Or little Teferi can bounce it and it's gone. Make a 1-1. Gotta win this game somehow. Yeah, I think little Teferi's fine because I still have Solitude. Solitude can manage Primeval Titan. Spreading Seas there. Does it matter? I think Boros Garrison is somehow their best land. That's the one that can give Primeval Titan haste and stuff. Exile one of the amulets with the thing I just drew. And begin the beats. Alright. We've done it. And I'm holding up Solitude still. Maybe I'm supposed to save that Spreading Seas for the next Urza Saga. Not sure if it matters. Alright, there it is. Primeval Titan. I'm sure my opponent is surprised it resolved. Just hope it doesn't matter. Alright, so they can untap these lands. I'm gonna let them target Primetime before I zap it. Solitude. And they've had enough. That was pretty sick. We did have to fade for a couple turns there. The shields were down, but they just didn't have it or didn't go for it. Ashiok's definitely for this matchup. I don't think Ragavan is for this matchup. Void Mirror can brick their packs. I have nothing that Void Mirror stops, and they have something that Void Mirror stops, so I will consider it. Cleansing Nova. And destroying all artifacts and enchantments can wipe out the amulets and the constructs and the sagas if that becomes necessary. I could put Mystical Dispute in the deck as just cancel for a Primeval Titan, but I don't think that sounds very good. The Lightning Bolt on Bolt Snap Bolt was actually pretty playable. Ice can tap down Primeval Titan, even though Fire doesn't do a lot here. Finding the cuts is actually going to be tough. It's probably just Lightning Bolt, let's be serious. Lightning Bolt, and do I need Memory Deluge for the late game, or is that hoping for too much against this powerful amulet deck? Ice for Primeval Titan just feels so good. Like, you just need to buy a little breathing room to get up into your good spells. Maybe it's Shark Typhoon. Yeah, Shark Typhoon feels really slow for this matchup, actually. This is my plan. I'm gonna keep this. It's a little slow, but I can answer multiple amulets. They mull to 5. Feels good. I needed that. It's just Saga Pass is the play. This would be a great time to draw Spreading Seas. They picked up their Saga with Growth Chamber. Still no Spreading Seas forthcoming. Maybe this was a game where I was supposed to hold Rockwind Triumph to cycle it because I already had a bunch of lands. Okay, there's Amulet, and they've already made their land drop for the turn. We take those. Get a Hallowed Fountain in right now while it's free. Alright, I have enough lands, deck. We can stop doing that now. Flooded Strand. Oh, whoops. I did not mean to fetch there. I was trying to click on Flooded Strand, but whatever. It's all the same. Ending the Amulet. Remove that. My plan was to tap Hallowed Fountain and then fetch for the other one, but it's fine. Mostly the same thing. Karn the Great Creator. That's scary. Just plussed it. Okay. I don't have a 4th color in my deck to work my way up to Karn. There's that Fire Ice we talked about. I think I'm just going to ice their Simic Growth Chamber in the upkeep. This denies them mana to do whatever they're trying to do with Karn. And I might draw Counterspell. Nope. They get to tutor here, probably for Amulet. Oh, Expedition Map. Yeah, they're just in on the Construct plan. Is that what's going on here? Liquid Metal Coating. That one is actually terrifying. How about a Counterspell deck? Anywhere. Any of my 8+ Counterspells in the deck? Teferi can tuck Karn, or I can just jam Teferi, plus it, take my medicine on Liquid Metal Coating, get Stone Rained, and then exile Coating next turn. Don't like this. I think I have to go in on Teferi here. Teferi plus... Okay, Ashiok's actually a good card. I'm going to target my 2 islands to show Counterspell. Not that I think they're going to fall for it. Let's hope they can't put 3 artifacts into play right now. There's one. They've killed... Or they put damage on Teferi. He's not dead. This Coating, they haven't Stone Rained me yet. They might use it to just freeze Teferi. Alright, no. They are going for the Stone Rain. It definitely seems like the right play to me. Ojuka Bog. Do I care about that? I don't think so. Okay. I've drawn another land. Draw a card with Teferi. Tough, tough life over here. Arden Veil can block the Construct. Okay, so I'll play Castle. Exile Liquid Metal Coating. They can get it back with Karn, because Karn can get things out of the game or from exile. That's not a long-term solution. But I think having Teferi in play is the most important thing that's happening right now. There's the map. Okay, map means that I don't actually have to block the Construct because they don't have enough artifacts in play right now. They might have, like, Flagship in their sideboard that can just zap Teferi right now. Alright, they're just getting Coating back. Coating's back. You got it. Make a 1/1. Block. They can freeze Teferi this turn because they've already used Karn anyway. It's Dryad, which means Valakut is pretty close to active here. This feels like a Supreme Verdict turn to me. Yep, they know how to activate their thing on Teferi. That's a bummer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can Verdict, then start losing lands again. Yeah, Verdict has to happen though. Wait, this Valakut being on is a giant tiebreaker. If we even needed a tiebreaker still at this point. Amulet, bummer. If they have land prime time, they're in business. They have the cavern. Not that I have represented a counterspell at any point this entire game. And I've been just a mana behind Ashiok for several turns now. All right, they're main phasing the Coating. They are going for strip mine mode. That's good for me. I would rather have Teferi than a random land right now, because Teferi is worth 2 mana versus a land being worth 1. And drawing the extra card is where I need to be right now. All right, another land. Teferi. Fire Ice. Okay. Fire Ice gives me some hope for the future. I'm not going to play the Steam Vents. That's my last reliable red source, I think. Yeah, Rockman Triumph's in the graveyard. There's only the 1 Steam Vents in the deck. Yeah, I'm saving that for when I need red mana. If I need red mana. There are 6 islands in the deck. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think I want to use Flooded Strand, or at least have Flooded Strand around. Ashiok, get to work, homie. Don't think I need to zap them with Ashiok. Just having the most loyalty is what matters with that one. Tap my islands. I guess I could have iced Cavern in the upkeep. That might be better than icing Primeval Titan. Barry's probably going to tuck Karn in the very near future. Shit. Alright, they do have Primeval Titan. They can't search with it. Well, that's good news. I think we both forgot about that. I don't know. Wow, they're just plussing Karn. Weird. Okay, I'm going to fetch for an island. And I think Archmage Charm is in Draw 2 mode at this point. Draw 2. I found another one. Now we're doing the thing. Okay, they're freezing Teferi now. That's the right call, because Teferi was about to tuck Karn forever. They have Jace with Archmage Charm back up. Is that something I'm interested in? We go 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's Jace. Do I want to Brainstorm, or do I want to bounce Primetime? But I'm icing Primetime, so I don't need to do that. I think I want to Brainstorm. Okay. I can put Basic Plains Steam Vents on top of the deck. And then I can play Little Teferi, bounce the Primetime. Unless they can remove Ashiok. This is all fine. This Karn can activate Liquid Metal, or turn Amulet into a creature and just attack Little Teferi. I'm going to zap them once with Ashiok, and then I'm going to stop doing that. Don't know if I needed to do that. I just don't know if this deck uses its graveyard at all, and I just want to make sure they don't. A more experienced versus Amulet player would have known whether that made any sense or not. Engineered Explosives, that kills Ashiok and Teferi. Well, I am very glad that I bounced Primeval Titan then, if the plan was to dance around Ashiok anyway. And I'm glad I used the loyalty when I had the chance. They freeze Teferi, that's cool. Jace gets to Brainstorm. Put back these 2 lands. Yeah, I'm still not really safe from the Colonnade, or from the coding. Alright, I'm going to put the Colonnade and Plains back into the deck. Play Flooded Strand for the turn. Fetch for another island. Spreading Seas the Cavern. I don't have double red to kill Karn with. I guess if I thought of that, I could have had it over the next 2 turns. Maybe this is a good place for Lightning Bolt. Well, the good news is, if they try to keep using coding to freeze Teferi instead of to destroy my lands, I can start icing coding in their end step and getting Teferi activations out of it. And I really only need 1. Once I tuck Karn with the first Teferi activation, I think we're up behind the counter wall at this point. Alright, Karn's making a wish. That means I can fire Karn next turn. Expedition map. Probably for another cavern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm actually going to counter that. If they think that's important, I don't want them to have it. Like, I can see a straight line into Primeval Titan if they do that. Alright, they're jamming an Unprotected Cultivator Colossus. Counter target spell. Yeah, I'll do that. That means I can't ice the Liquid Metal Coating, but I can fire Karn, which is just better. Because then my Teferi can activate anyway. Slow rolling this red source has paid off extremely well. Events, yes, pay the 2. Fire. 1 to Karn, 1 to your face. Karn's dead, which means I can activate Teferi. Draw a card. Prismatic Ending can get rid of the Amulet. Brainstorm with Jace. Cleansing Nova, good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff. I've already made a land drop, so I don't need this. I can play Little Teferi and hold up Cleansing Nova. Is that good? I think Archmage Charm is probably just better. But I'm going to tuck Supreme Verdict and Island into my deck. And then Little Teferi. I could pick up my Spreading Seas. That's a next turn play. I'm just going to plus Little Teferi. I have 6 mana up. Arn the Great Creator. That's not a card I want to play against. I forgot to Prismatic Ending, so I'll do that now. I'm going to end their Amulet, and then counter Karn. I don't think they can generate a ton of mana this turn. All right, so they picked up their Cavern, which killed my Spreading Seas. All good. Plus Teferi. Brainstorm with Jace. Did I start Fate Sealing with Jace? No, my hand's not perfect. Put back Mystic Gate and Fire Ice plus Little Teferi. I'm going to Spreading Seas their Valakut right now. This is free mana here. I can bounce that with Teferi next turn if I want to move it over to their Cavern. So Primeval Titan's going to resolve here because they have Cavern. Nothing I can do about that. Act. Interesting. I could do something about this. Do I care? I don't think so. Go ahead. Pact. Oh, they could jam Cultivator Colossus here. Good thing I turned off Valakut with that. This is actually great, because if they name Dryad instead of Giant here, and they resolve this, if they make a land drop, if they have a second Valakut, if they play it and it triggers, I can destroy all artifacts and enchantments in response. Oh, Emrakul the Promise End. Creature type is Giant. Alright, so I can counter this. Yeah, alright. Blind Trample, Protection of Instance, okay. So I'll counter that. And I probably want to cast some spells to make sure that they don't get me too good. I'm going to Snapcaster and exile their Liquid Metal Coating. I just want to make sure removal is out of my hand, and they can't kill my Planeswalkers with my own cards. Just going to put 2 damage on their face here. Okay. Here it comes. Teferi can tuck different Teferi, or itself. Like, big Teferi can minus on itself, unfortunately. Now we watch. They have Mystic Gate 2 sweepers. Luckily, this is not a Destroy All Permanents sweeper. My Planeswalkers are safe. They can Brainstorm to make my hand as bad as possible, but I can Brainstorm to get it all back. They can Memory Deluge and pick the worst cards. They can just counter Memory Deluge. Oh, this isn't really too bad as far as things go. As far as getting Mindslaver goes. Teferi just tucked itself. Memory Deluge can put Teferi on the bottom of my deck forever. Bouncing Snapcaster Mage isn't even that bad. So they can snap Prismatic Ending and exile my Teferi. Nice of them to make my land drop. Appreciate it. There's Jace. So Jace kills Jace. They can't deck me. That's not a thing. So losing big Teferi does slow this game down a lot, and I'm at 7 minutes on my clock to their 14. I do need to actually win this game somehow. They should probably cast Snapcaster and counter it. Or they should use my counterspell on one of my own spells somewhere. Oh, wow. That's a juicy Deluge. Even if they pick the 2 worst cards, they're still both good. I would have countered that if I was them. They can target themselves with my Archmage Charm. That's pretty good. Okay. Now let's go back to our regularly scheduled business. Okay. Draw for turn. It's Solitude. Did they know that was there? Plus Little Teferi. Brainstorm with Jace. Interested in a Spreading Seas. Reflecting Pool. Oh, big Teferi. Get wrecked. Put back Colonnade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big Teferi's back. They work so hard to get rid of that. Draw a card. The Colonnade. Play the Colonnade. And pass the turn. They can Solitude their Primeval Titan. They have to pay for their pack this turn. There's Dryad. Probably should have countered that. Alright. I'll Wrath in response to that. That takes away their mountains. Now I'm on Turbo Win the Game with Planeswalkers mode. Just gotta play fast here. Vassal Vantress. Plus Teferi. Brainstorm with Jace. Cool. Spreading Seas on your Cavern. Activate Colonnade. We have a win condition. 5.5 minutes is plenty of time to get this game won. Hard to believe this is the same game that my opponent had me under Karn coding lock and strip mined multiple lands. Okay, Summoner's Pact. Back in the mix. Getting Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Resolves. Solitude also adds to the clock. Attacking for 7 a turn with all my planeswalkers still around. They're going to die very quickly from here. As long as I don't deck myself. 7 cards left in my deck. I'm good. No problem. Storm with Jace. Whip back the 2 lands. Play the fetch land. Legacy Magic here. Attack for 7. Fetch. There's a plains left in my deck. No problem. I jam my Void Mirror just in case. Probably should have Spreading Seas the Valakut, but I'm playing quickly at this point. Flashing in Snapcaster or cycling Shark Typhoon puts lethal on board. And Snap Counterspell is probably a play I'm going to make this turn anyway. Oh, maybe not. Like they are getting a final prime time. Can't counter it. They could gain some life to waste some time. Okay, they got Urza Saga, Boros Garrison. That didn't gain any life. Doesn't have haste. I'm just going to elbow tap into Shark Typhoon here and then win the game. Having little Teferi means this is just good to go. Okay, pretty clean game 2 there. It took a long time, but we were never really in danger in game 2. Game 1 we had to fade. Like there was like 1 or 2 awkward early development turns that we faded, but game 2 we were in the driver's seat basically the whole time. That felt pretty great. On to the next round. I'm on the play in round 2 with another 1-lander that I'm going to have to mulligan. Really just hitting your land drops is most of the game here. I'm going to keep this and bottom Shark Typhoon. The big lesson learned from round 1 is that if that match had gone 3 games, I would have lost to time. So I got to really pay attention to the clock. Plains, Ornithopter. Okay, this is going to be a Saga deck. So this Spreading Seas might be something I want to sit on. I do have this Solitude for the hammer that comes down. Losing to Teferi to do it hurts, but it's the play. Not going to act until they act. There's hammer. When they target an Ornithopter, being a 2-for-1 sucks. But I mean, better than taking 12 or 10. Being dead on turn 3. Okay, that's handled. Please play Urza Saga. Okay. Ooh, where's my red source? I'm gonna Spreading Seas one of these planes just in case Pure Steel Paladin is part of their plan. All right. Red source I think ends the game. Oh no, they have an O2. I don't know. Red source would have been really good here, which I clearly don't have access to. Oh, and then the Saga after the Spreading Seas. Classic. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. So I'm taking 10 here. Or 11. Giant bashing here. It's hammer time. Yeah, red source would have been great, because then I wouldn't have tricked myself into Spreading Seas, would have been able to kill all that Ornithopter. Okay. I mean, that still kills Ornithopter. Oh, I don't have a plains. Whoops. And the Thopo. Let's get that out of there. If that was an untapped source, I could have also exiled Sigarda's Aid this turn. But I can do that next turn. And then I have to beat the constructs. It's also not easy. There's a Shadow Spear coming through if I get rid of Aid. Counterspell doesn't matter at this point. Okay, Snapcaster Mage. Prismatic Ending. Get rid of Sigarda's Aid. That keeps the hammer from jumping onto the Ink Moth. But I still have to deal with this pile of 6/6s. Yeah, red mana was really the difference between winning and losing this game. Or wasting my Saga. Or wasting my out to Saga was probably really the where I lost this game, but I think I was doing the best I can with what I had. There's Shadow Spear, yep. And they can equip it right away. Yep, I am just dead. They have 8 damage through my blocker, and I'm at 7. Yeah. Okay. Important lesson there. Fire Ice would have been insane, but it did not get to fly. Okay, Lightning Bolt. Stony Silence, Cleansing Nova, probably Void Mirror. They have some number of colorless lands in their deck. Ragavan is not for this matchup. Ashiok is. That stops the search on Stoneforge and on Saga. Verdict's great. Teferi's great. Charm is great. Counterspell's not great. Counterspell and Shark Typhoon. Or Shark Typhoon can produce a blocker on 3 mana that gets me up. A cantripping blocker for a turn that can get me another draw step, which is mostly all I'm looking for in this matchup. Do I want Counterspell in the play? Or, like, I'm pretty sure it's just horrible on the draw. I think I need my Planeswalkers to actually win the game. Fire Ice is great if I have red mana. Archmage Charm can steal as many things as it can counter, so playing to the board on that axis sounds really good. Jace can remove constructs forever. I don't know, Jace seems like the worst card left here. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to keep this handful of removal. I'm going to lead on Ardenvale because I don't have a Plains for that to come in untapped with in my hand. Sentinel's pretty good. Memnite, okay. I don't think I want to cast Prismatic Ending right now. Yeah, if I can end Memnite and pay the 1, or I can end Sentinel and not pay the 1. I think I'd rather just pass the turn. Maybe use Solitude to get to a Supreme Verdict. Stoneforge Mystic, okay. Gotta watch out for this Inkmoth Nexus. I'm getting my 3rd mana this turn. They're out of stuff they can do now. Oh, they're playing fair. Interesting. They don't want to put their Esper Sentinel in front of Snapcaster Mage. They do value that thing. Spreading Seas was a good draw. I can spread the Inkmoth Nexus and pay the Troll Toll. Or do I want to take them off white? Do I think I am actually taking them off white? I'm actually going to target... I am going to target the Plains. Get out of here. I'll pay the 1 so they don't draw an extra card. All right, let's see if that pays off over time. Certainly risky. They had a Plains, Steel Shaper's Gift. They can't activate Stoneforge or place a Garda's Aid or anything this turn because I hit the Spreading Seas. Paradise Mantle. All right. That requires... All right. That needs a creature to do stuff. Okay, so they had to use Steel Shaper's Gift to get another color of mana to activate their Stoneforge with. I'm gonna slam Supreme Verdict this turn. They get to draw a card. But I do have Solitude waiting in the wings that I hope I get the chance to untap into. There's certainly sets of 4 or 5 cards they could have where I have to Solitude now just to stay alive. But I would really like to untap into 5 mana and just have this creature in play. There's the Inky. Okay. Is this worth 2 cards to me? I think it is. Yeah, getting rid of their Inkmoth plus stopping the draw. Yeah. Let's get rid of this thing. Guess I should have responded to the equip if I was going to do this. They have 2 life they didn't need right now. But then they would add mana to spend, so maybe not. Do I Deluge now or hold up mana? What am I doing for 1 mana if I Deluge now? I guess I could have found a red source to play. Like if I found Rockrun Triumph or whatever, could have put that in. I'm going to Deluge with more information next turn. I don't think they play haste creatures or counter spells. Inkmoth Nexus, scary stuff. Steel Shaper's Gift, also scary. Nettle Cyst, okay, yeah, they're on this like totally different grind plan. I'm going to Deluge now that I have some information about what's going on. Prismatic Ending, this costs 3. Snapcaster Mage, yeah, there's nothing to get there. I mean, Teferi's definitely coming into my hand. And Prismatic Ending's not bad, but neither is it good. Alright, I'll take the ending. Oh, it can hit the germ. Never mind, it's really good. Red source? Oh, red card. Interesting. I could lose this game if I play Teferi. Just on the spot. But I don't think I have another play. So here's Teferi. Draw my card. That's a red source. I don't have a Sacred Foundry in my deck, so unfortunately I can't bolt now and hold up ending next turn. Oh wait, I have Rockrun Triome. but that comes into play tapped. Okay, I'm going to... Fuck. I have fucked up again. I should not have played this land. I was not thinking right. This costs how much? 2 to equip? Yeah, we're like a Sacred Foundry away from complete stabilization. But I have to get Triome here. If I Lightning Bolt this in my end step, then it costs 1 to activate Ink Moth, 2 to equip this. All right. I guess I have to get the Triome right now. Yep, no Sacred Foundry, damn. Mistakes were made there. Untap 2 lands now, and then Lightning Bolt this thing. I have to do that now, or else they can activate Inkmoth Nexus and save it as an extra artifact in play. And they could definitely just, like, Sigarda's Aid suit up right now. Please just equip Sword of Fire and Ice or something. It's weird that I'm hoping that that happens, but that's where we are with this game. Okay, they can kill Teferi, which, all things considered, not that bad. It sucks, don't get me wrong, but considering how awkwardly I played the last hand, or last turn, that was not the worst thing that could happen. That's very lucky. Okay, Reflecting Pool. Now my colors are online. I can Prismatic Ending one of these weapons. Like, if I take the Nettle Cyst, that slows down their poison. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7 poison, which is the same as 0 poison. Like, that doesn't matter unless they connect more than once. Okay, blue, white, red. I'm gonna exile the Sword of Fire and Ice. Then I'm gonna use Archmage Charm to try to stay alive for the turn. Like, if they just, like, crunch me for a bunch of poison, it's not a big deal. I can counter a Pure Steel Paladin or a Sigarda's Aid or a Hammer. And if they just, like... Oh, shit. Well, that's not what I counter. I counter the next weapon that comes down from it. Or I steal Sigarda's Aid in response. Probably better. They didn't equip anything, so they clearly have something. I gain control of Sigarda's Aid. That stops this and any subsequent weapons. Alright, taking Aid. Hope their last card in hand isn't a third hammer. Oh my god. Okay, one of those came off the top because that was the last card in their hand. Like, they drew one of these 3 cards this turn, whatever. Well played, I guess. Perhaps I'm supposed to counter the Sigarda's Aid, I guess. That does play around this. Like, countering Sigarda's Aid plays around exactly this, but letting Aid resolve means that I get to draw 2 if they don't have a hammer, and they need exactly 2 hammers for this to happen. So there are spectrums there of, like, 100% make sure I survive this turn to, like, medium blowout to maximum blowout. And I played to, like, the medium blowout and lost for it. But, like I said, they have 0 cards in their hand right now. They drew either the second hammer or the Sigarda's Aid for turn, and that was just a completely random draw. That punished my line. Okay, next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the draw for round 3, I'm going to keep this interactive hand. It's got a bunch of lands, it's got all my colors, and multiple ways to interact with different types of opponents. I'm in. Ooh, an Elvish Mystic. Happy to target that with Lightning Bolt. Ooh, is that better? Yeah, I think so. Lightning Bolt being an instant has a lot going for it. I also get to hide red mana for a turn, if that matters. If they get me with some non-creature permanent, then I guess I deserve it, but I think saving the instant makes sense. Sylvan Anthem, oh baby. They're gonna get me with a non-creature permanent. Green creatures enter the battlefield, scry 1. Green creatures get +1/+1. Okay, so there's some sort of green tribal deck. What a delight. I'm holding up Counterspell for this turn. I'm not gonna risk having to shock in Lightning Bolt, since the counterspell is pretty easily on curve here. Okay. They want to let me have a turn anyway. Go to Druid. Okay. I will target that with counterspell. Pretty cool that they can fetch Dryad Arbor and Scry, and it's a 2/2. An exciting time to be alive. I'm going to spread one of these things. I just need some velocity. Okay, Rockern Triumph, the draw. Once this Lightning Bolt is spent, we're going to be hurting for some spells. And I'm going to let them scry to the bottom, then kill Dryad Arbor. Scry to the top. I hope it's a 3-drop they can't cast. I think getting a Stone Rain out of this Lightning Bolt is a pretty good deal, especially on the turn where Spreading Seized. Opponent in the chat just said, "Not Jeskai," and made a sad face. So I guess that was a good play, I hope. They have 1 green mana in their deck with Sylvan Anthem, so clearly they want green cards. Ooh, Elvish Warmaster. Archmage Charm. I'm going to play Rockern Triome. Why did I play Triumph? That doesn't make any sense. Cycling, that's going to be so much better than anything else I could do with it this game. I got to get into the habit of remembering cycling mode on this. There's not that many red cards in the main deck. And I have land drops for days here. Yeah, that should have been held back to cycle. Quirion Ranger. Can't steal the War Master. And if this Ranger resolves, this is not a forest to pick up. They don't actually have any forest to pick up. Yeah, I think I might just have to draw 2 with my Archmage Charm and try to find some more removal. The Sylvan Anthem is dope right now. I've never seen this card in play before. Spending 1 mana for 4 power and toughness and scry 2. Well, scry 1 once, or scry 1 twice, which is worse than scry 2. Cost 7 to overrun the team. Guess it's not overrun. They gain Death Touch, not Trample. Ooh, black mana. Okay, let's draw some spells. Fire, Ice would be good if Sylvan Anthem wasn't in play. I can Snap Bolt. Oh yeah, well, I am getting rewarded for playing out my second red source. Despite myself, here we are. I'm gonna Snap Lightning Bolt on the War Leader, War Master. And I can fire the Quirion Ranger now. Do I think that's worth doing? What do I think they're going to have? I'm going to fire Quirion Ranger before it can generate mana. Yeah, without the Sylvan Anthem, fire is so fucked. But it was still pretty good. I'm a little worried that now I'm shields down to a combo of some kind. Realm Walker, yikes. Oh, that's a combo. They can cast elves off the top of their deck, and every time they cast an elf, they can manipulate the top of their deck. Sounds good to me. I will trade with this elf if it attacks. Yeah, I was going to say I'd be a little surprised if it did, though. Hey, the Teferi father. Tef Daddy. That's the kind of card I needed right now. I chose to draw a card rather than tuck the Realm Walker. I hope I'm not punished for that. As long as Teferi survives his turn, I'm feeling okay. Uh-oh. Finale of Devastation for 1. Heritage D. I'm in trouble. If there's any elves anywhere near the top of their deck, they're coming into play right now. Oh god, it's War Master. Not just any elf. And another Heritage Druid, which triggers... You get a Scry and another thing. Oh baby. I am gonna need a Supreme Verdict real fast. Scry to the top. That must mean another elf is coming. Yup. Oh, this is so sick. They took the scenic route, but they have successfully created a glimpse of nature. Oh, this War Master thing is only the first elf per turn? Oh, this triggers only once per turn. Okay. That's a reasonably printed Magic card that I'm grateful for. This board state right now would be the spot to cycle Rockern Triome, but like I said, I guess the double mana, double red did pay off once already. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can brainstorm with Jace. I'm gonna plus Teferi. Oh, Teferi Time Raveler can bounce War Master. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's no way to get to Supreme Verdict this turn unless it's with Teferi Time Raveler. But Jace could come up with some other stuff. Okay. I'm going to go with Jace. I still have 2 lands to be untapped this turn. I could just bounce 2 creatures, but then I lose like everything. Dark Typhoon. I could Typhoon for 2, or Typhoon for 3, or I could cast Archmage Charm, steal something. Either way, Little Teferi doesn't get to come into play this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And they can tap elves at will. So stealing an elf isn't even that good. Okay. I think I am a turn behind their action here. Leaving up Castle Ardenvale, that could also just make a blocker, if that's a thing that I care about. This is the turn that I need to survive. Rite of Harmony. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Yes, they're doing their thing. I'm so excited. I'm not going to counter that because I'm dead to their board already. Like, I need to use my resources to just not die to this attack step. There's War Master. And this is ETBs, right? Yeah. So they get to draw a card off the elf token as well. Very excited. This deck is awesome. Grey Ranger triggers the 2 things again. All right, well, the War Masters are done triggering for the turn. They did their busto thing that they do. There are creatures that can attack. Oh, they do have Quirion Ranger, so they have more attackers than it looks like. The creatures they can attack with are exactly lethal right now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can block a 3. I guess I could go to 1. Elvish Archdruid. Fuck. Can I beat that card at all? Probably not. There it is. It's in play. Oh, I can produce 1 blocker with Castle Ardenvale also. Yavimaya. All right, now I don't even need to fetch to do that. But that turns on their Temple Garden again as a green source. Oh no, the second Archdruid. Now their attacks are lethal no matter what. Okay, they did it. They have to, like, mess up somehow, like, get greedy and cast too many elves without leaving enough back to attack. That's the only way I can win the game now. Oh, that's sick. Because of Yavimaya, they can pick up their land that my Spreading Seas was on and reset it because it's a forest again. So sick. Tapping their Llanowar Elves, that's one of their attackers. Devoted Druid. Okay. That's pretty big. Like, they can tap that with Llanowar Elves, or tap that with Heritage Druid, and then untap it with its own ability 4 times. Strong. Oh, we're going into combat. I need them to mess up here. 5, 10. I'm going to steal this Heritage Druid. If they tap Heritage Druid and their 2 creatures that can't attack in response, then they have a lethal attack. If I get the Heritage Druid, then I'm... Was I just barely alive, or was I dead anyway? No, dead anyway. Okay, yep. I'm slain here. Yeah, block the biggest thing, still take 13. Okay. Are these all attacking me? Yes, they are. All right. I'm dead. Cool deck. I think them being on the play won them that game, because I was a turn away from untapping with all 3 Planeswalkers in play. Not complaining, just saying that is... I think that was part of what just happened. Okay, Cleansing Nova and Lightning Bolt definitely coming in. Ragavan, horrible. Mystical Dispute, probably not good. Did I see them search your deck at all? Yeah, they played Finale of Devastation. Cards that are not so good here. Fire Ice seems excellent. Jace actually seems kind of medium. Shark Typhoon seems actively bad. At some point, a large flyer is going to be good for winning the game with. I don't know, Memory Deluge is, like, great if I have 1 turn of Breathing Room and horrendous if I don't. I guess Deluge or Jace, which of these cards is worse? Like, that's what I'm looking at right now. The rest of these all have important jobs. I think I'll split them. I guess I need to cut 3 cards, don't I? All right. Maybe Spreading Seas isn't great. All right, I'm going to do it like that. And Spreading Seas is something to do on 2 mana that cantrips and mildly disruptive, but this isn't a deck that's really going to get bricked by Spreading Seas. Yeah, I like that. And you do need to keep a critical mass of mid-game engines in the deck, or else you just end up flooding out and dying. I'll keep this hand. I'm going to leave a Rockrin Triome in the deck and not fetch it, not play it if I draw it. That's on shuffling duty this game because I have Steam Vents plus Reflecting Pool. I think I am required to just, bolt the bird, as they say. Get rid of this thing immediately. Oh, there's the Rock and Triumph. Good thing we agreed. I'm not doing that this game. I'm gonna play Hallowed Fountain tapped and pass. Heritage Druid, okay. Oh, they missed their second land drop. That was a really good lightning bolt. I think I just play Ashiok and pass, don't activate it. Oh, right, fetch lands also. I forgot about fetch lands. I'm like, yeah, Finale of Devastation. That's a good card to target with Spreading Seas. They didn't attack with Heritage G. That's weird. What are they up to over there? Oh, they said whoops in the chat. So they did just forget to attack. Whatever. I don't think being on 4 versus 3 loyalty is going to be game breaking. We get a big cycle on Rocker and Triumph right now, though. I'm learning. It's only the 3rd round, and I'm finally learning to cycle my cycle land. They might have Choke in their deck, so I should think about that a little bit. Okay, now I have a counterspell for Choke. We're good. Opponent said, gosh, Ashiok Ugh in the chat, so I imagine their hand's full of fetch lands, I hope, or finales. If they just cast, like, some creature this turn, I'm gonna Deluge. I'm not gonna... Oh, right, they have Cavern. I was about to say, even if they didn't have Cavern, I would not counter a creature this turn. Realm Walker resolves. Can't be countered, so it won't. Time to Deluge. Big Teferi and Prismatic Ending. Ending seems good. Ending and Teferi into the hand. A land would be great. Okay, cool. Now I can Teferi and then Snap Bolt in my end step. And Teferi just like automatically plays around Choke. It slows the game down, but at least you're not dead. And tap 2 lands and then Snap Bolt. Life's a lot easier without that Sylvan whatever in play. When Lightning Bolt actually kills their best creature instead of doesn't kill their best creature. Fire Ice is a 2-for-1. Oh shit, there it is. I hope it's too late here. They were ready to go off there. Sneaky, sneaky. All right, Teferi, do your job. There's a Supreme Verdict. Another land. I think I want to... Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I want to Ending the Druid. And I get to untap 2 lands, so... Oh, well, all my shocks are already in play, so didn't need to fetch there. Whoops. Snapcaster Mage get in. I don't think they have any haste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can Deluge in my end step by floating a mana in response to Teferi. I don't think that's necessary, though. Like, or I guess I could find Lightning Bolt. Okay, yeah, I actually am going to do this. Yeah, they have Cavern anyway, so this is a good time as any to do this. Okay. 5 lands and 2 spells. I'll take the 2 spells. A Fire Ice and a Spreading Seas here. And try to get control of the Cavern next turn. I don't know what the combo potential of this deck actually is, and I hope they can't just like shit murder me from nothing. Archdruid. I actually cannot kill that right now. Well, I have Supreme Verdict. I can kill everything. There's Lightning Bolts in my deck somewhere. Counterspell. Draw with Teferi. Spreading Seas the Cavern. Cleansing Nova. Oh, baby. Do I want a Cleansing Nova? Probably not. I want to attack with Snapcaster Mage. See if I can get a cheeky little block out of them. Pick it off with Fire Ice. Can't imagine they'd fall for this. Oh my god. Okay, Snapcaster Mage is in the graveyard. And Fire Ice. Fire dealing 1 to that, 1 to you. Anything to save my good spells for later, I'm into. Like if I can get my Elves opponent to concede while I still have 2 Wraths in my hand, that's a game well played. Mystic resolves. And I'm going to target myself with Archmage Charm now. Basically looking for Little Teferi to just block this up. If I could Wrath at instant speed, then the game is a joke. Fairy goes ultimate next turn. Don't know what they're doing with this black mana, but let's stop it. Floated a green. Gonna move into combat to brick their floating mana. Oh, endurance. That's fun. Resolves. They are targeting me with that. Yeah, okay, sure. My graveyard's gone. Did it. I drop the hammer. Now that I get a 2-for-1, I can spend one of the 3 wraths in my hand. I can live with this. Okay, we did it. On the draw, I don't think the plan changes. I think it's just, they're going to get a turn of development ahead of what I do. Yeah, there's nothing different going on here. Back in with the same deck. This hand, the Solitude is kind of slow, and I have to pitch Cleansing Nova to do it. Oof, this is a rough one. I am going to keep it. Maybe it's bad. Oh, the Cavern just made it worse. There's Elvish Mystic. Lightning Bolt off the top. Celestial Colonnade, okay. I'll play that one while the getting's good. Much rather draw that now than on turn 5 when I need to cast Cleansing Nova. Okay, they are fetching. Black mana activate. Grist. Tough beats. Yeah, Grist is a really good one. I'm going to play Flooded Strand. I can fetch Shock if I need to counter something. I can fetch Tapped if I don't need to counter something. I think if I do end up just fetching a tapped land, I do want Rockrunt Triumph this game because I need double white and I also don't have red yet. Briscoe's ultimate at 5, but that's not actually very good. Another Mystic. I can counterspell this one. I'm not going to. Pick one from an insect attack. I'm going to fetch Triome right now. Get my mana set up right. I have managed to play around Choke for the most part here. I can cycle Shark Typhoon, make a 1/1 Shark trade with just something this turn. Get a card deeper into my deck. I'm worried though. This has not developed well. That Grist is pretty fucked up. What's this? Oh, Endurance. Do I counter Endurance? Yeah, probably. It's just like a big creature. Do I care about Endurance? Countering Endurance versus not countering Endurance. I think I am not going to counter Endurance. I think that cycling Shark Typhoon, getting the extra draw, the extra look at the 5th land or the Supreme Verdict in between, I think that's all worth more than... Like, I'm going to get up to Cleansing Nova or I'm not, and that's basically the entire calculation of this game. And, like, keeping a 3/4 out of play will help me get there. Archdruid. Yeah, that's a tough one. If I cycle Shark Typhoon into a white card, I might remove Archdruid. Alright, Shark Typhoon, let's go. I would love to see Supreme Verdict here. White card? Okay, Teferi is actually great. I get to lock Quirion Ranger. Is Quirion Ranger better than... Right, I'll block Elvish Mystic. And then I'm going to Solitude pitching Teferi to exile Archdruid and shrink all the elves. Yeah, that saves me more damage than going after Endurance does. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 damage. Oh, I'm actually dead on board. Oh, not anymore. I need to kill the 2 insects because the Grist ultimate is actually just like there and ready to party. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can put me to 3 that I know of. Wow, Grist has been so insane right now. Yep, I am firing the 2 insects. Those are the 2 creatures that don't go into the graveyard for Grist. I'm probably going to have to jump with Snapcaster Mage this turn unless I get to counter a spell. But I'm in trouble, like a lot of trouble. Even if I draw the land for Cleansing Nova, I'm in trouble. 3, 4, 5. If I don't block 3, 4, 5, 6, I go to 5. Grist ultimate deals 2. I go to 3. I could snap fire next turn. And then I also just die to Grist ultimate. I think I need to Snapcaster just to chump block this turn. Turn 2 Grist, so fucked up. Yeah, that's why you bolt the bird. I kept a hand that was incapable of bolting bird, and I'm losing for it. Oh no! Well, that's the game. Definitely can't beat that one. I played this whole game trying to be at a stable life total when I cast Cleansing Nova, and that is not possible. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ultimate. Yeah, I drew the bolt. GG's. Really awesome deck. I should have mulliganed game 3. I knew my hand was a little slow, not quite active enough. I had Solitude, but my only white card was the Cleansing Nova. So, tough one. Really cool deck. On the play in round 4, my first appearance of a companion, which is weird, going 4 rounds into a Modern League. I'm keeping this highly interactive hand. So far, the hands that have been good are ones that can do stuff, which shouldn't surprise anyone. God, is this Mill? Welcome to the no fun zone. Guess it could be Grixis. I'm gonna crack this fetch land and find out. Here we go. Are you Mill? I'm getting the Triome. Okay, we didn't get Mind Break, or whatever that trap is. The appropriate trap. It didn't happen. Could ice this land, just try to pull ahead. That seems reasonable. I'm looking for land drops and action here. Oh, Rashadan Port. This could be a Death Shadow deck, or it could just be a Grixis control deck. Definitely Grixis. And Thought Seizing me again. Probably losing Shark Typhoon to this one. Oh no, Supreme Verdict's in my hand over here. If they're a control deck, they'll take Shark Typhoon. If they're Shadow, they'll take Supreme Verdict. Okay. They took the Typhoon. That tells me a lot. On Teferi. Ooh. I'm going to hide the information of this Flooded Strand. I have all my colors set up. I don't really need to mitigate life loss with fetching right now. All right, here we go. If this were a Modern tournament and the deck was my choice, I would probably be on the Grixis Lurrus side of the control matchup rather than the blue-white fair version. I just love Lurrus. I think Expressive Iteration is completely busted. They found Scalding Tarn off the Exile for Iteration. Let's see if we get shadowed right here. Life total is certainly low enough. Okay, they are Shadow. Interesting they didn't care about Supreme Verdict if they're a Death Shadow deck. Like the kind of card they'd want to not have to play against. Spreading Seas. Alright, I'll clear out this Shadow. Lurrus looming over these control matchups is just so messed up. We're behind on resources. They have 6 cards in their hand, and that's not even counting the Lurrus that's still just over there in the tank for at their convenience. My deck contains Solitude, though, which is a complete banger in the matchup, and I hope to find one soon. They wished for their Lurrus and Inquisitioned me, probably stripping the Lightning Bolt, because that's my answer to Lurrus. They knew my whole hand at this point. There was no secret information. On Teferi. Let's jam it right now. Spreading Seas. Watergrave's already a blue land, so I'm going to go after one of their red sources. On Counterspell. Some answer to Lurrus would be great. Ardenvale's pretty dope. I'm going to save that for later. They're going to get to Lurrus here. I can exile it next turn with Ending. If there are 6 cards in hand, allow me to do that. They could also cast Lurrus, cast Shadow with Lurrus, and then I can't afford to exile Lurrus because the Shadow's too good. Yep, there it is. Okay, now Supreme Verdict is the draw that I want. I get my Steam Vents in tapped here. Come on, Spell. Archmage Charm also good. Ardenvale not good. This is an 8/8. It can be an 11/11. And I can also die real quick. Oh, I have to exile Lurrus here. Blue, white, red. If Lurrus is in play, then the Shadow gets to keep coming around. I can chump block Shadow starting next turn with Ardenvales. Listen to me talking about next turn. I'm dead to Battle Rage. I don't know if this deck still plays Battle Rage. Dress Down doesn't kill me. My life total is pretty high. They know what I'm going to draw. Oh, they targeted themselves. Never mind. They're using their fetch land to fix their draw steps. That makes more sense than knowing what I'm drawing this turn. Removal spell? Nope. Alright, so I got a chump block with a 1/1 and hope that the 6 cards in their Grixis control hand can't deal with a 1/1 at instant speed. Kolagun's Command, banger, Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat. Alright, Dress Down. Their thing just became enormous. It was already lethal, so that was mostly just a cantrip. But a cantrip is good here. Okay, here's my 1/1. Can you beat it? Easily. Alright, yeah, we're dead. Control decks with Thoughtseize tend to be favored against control decks that without Thoughtseize in control mirrors. Like, black is a really good mirror breaker for control. And the Lurrus is just a monster, absolute monster. Okay. Sanctifier and Rest in Peace are good here. Do I want to get scrappy with Ragavan against this opponent? Probably. Seems like the place to do that. Mystical Dispute doesn't really counter any spells that I care about. Flusterstorm's actually good, though. Lightning Bolt, I mean, they should be a Ragavan deck. I think they are. As far as I know, they are. Jace seems like a pipe dream. Shark Typhoon's good. Spreading Seas doesn't matter. Fire Ice seems good. It can hit Ragavan or Lurrus and can also tap Death Shadow for a turn. All of that is desirable. Teferi's pretty cool. I think Counterspell against the Thoughtseize deck is a mistake. Maybe I want Cleansing Nova also, but I'm bringing in a bunch of creatures. But, I mean, their endgame situation is having multiple creatures to my no creatures. I'm going to try to get ahead of that. Is Jace better than something like Memory Deluge? Unholy Heat makes Jace a lot worse. It also makes Teferi's a lot worse. Oof. Their deck's really good against my deck. The Counterspell Teferi combo is not to be underestimated, I suppose. But I just think that playing to the board is going to do more for me. All right, this is what I'm doing. Ragavan on the play. Let's go. And I have some removal and land drops. I'm going to keep this. It's not the Ragavan I wanted, but I'm not going to mull to 5 to find a turn 1 Ragavan. I'm not even sure if that's good. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn because there are basic planes in my deck I might want to fetch later. I am just going for the Triome here. There's their Ragavan. I am prepared for that. Fetch for the Triome. Ending this thing. Hope they don't have a second one to dash. Get out. BRC. Alright, yeah, here's all the Busted Grixis cards we just didn't even see game 1. They just beat me with Death Shadow. Didn't even need Ragavan and DRC. I can make this mine or steal it next turn. Or, I mean, steal it or bounce it next turn. My hand is just full of answers to this thing. They targeted themselves with Bauble. Seem to like the card they found. Getting Hallowed Fountain here. I have my 1 red source set up, which is the number of those that I usually want. Ooh. That's tempting. So getting Teferi into play is also tempting. Teferi, let's go. I'm going to bounce this, get a card off Teferi right away, because they have a million answers to this thing. Solitude's one of my better cards, however, I'm pretty far from 5 mana and don't have a white card to pitch. They shocked in Blood Crypt and then tried to cast a spell, which they can't do because of Teferi, so they clearly have Unholy Heat in their hand. Which might end up working out better for them, because now they can get the Surveil when they do it main phase. Land Artifact, and the Unholy Heat will be an instant. My window to fire a Dragon's Rage Channeler is getting smaller. Okay, they're heating the Teferi before playing DRC. Are they not going to play DRC? Like, are they going to dash Ragavan instead this turn? Oh, it looks like they're spending 2 mana on something. I hate it. I hate it. Yep, there it is. And then they can use the treasure to cast the DRC. This is just totally free to sneak in here. There aren't many cards from my deck that they'd actually get value off stealing, though. Exiled a land, which I actually did want. On land. Ooh. Oh, well, they have their own. They're holding up removal right now. Yeah, my choices are dash Ragavan, play Ragavan, draw 2 cards, hope to cast Ragavan, cycle Shark Typhoon into their Ragavan, fire their Ragavan. I think I'm just going to have to pass the turn. Missing a land drop is really, really terrible in this matchup, though. They get to Thoughtseize me here. Shame, because my hand's full of good cards. I'm going to just let it resolve. It's even Thoughtseize, so they can get the Solitude or the Fire Ice or the Shark Typhoon, where Inquisition would miss them. He took one of my 2 Archmage Charms. That's interesting. I did not expect that result. Croxa. Croxa is pretty decent. I'm going to discard Ragavan. It is unfortunately just the worst card here. Could draw 2 in response, but if they go land dash Ragavan, I'm slightly embarrassed about that. All right. My Ragavan's gone. I think I want to Archmage Charm this turn. Really need a land drop. My opponent has Croxa now, which means that Solitude's even more important. Okay. Found a land. Looks like Croxa's going to get to party this turn. God, they made 4 black. Yeah, Turok. That's the thing that makes sense here. That's a nightmare. Alright, well, I have to let it resolve, and then I fire it before it gets any bigger. This protection from white creature is not negotiable to be in play. Him to Turok just took my best 2 cards, as it always does. Perfect. Yeah, I was like, as long as it leaves me Shark Typhoon or Solitude, I'm good. Neither of the above occurred. Good times. They don't know about the second Fire Ice, though, and I know about Ragavan in their hand. Channeler is 3/3. I can end that. And also Lightning Bolt that, but I think I'd rather Prismatic Ending it. Save this Lightning Bolt for their face if they get a little fast and loose, or Luris. Drown in the lock. Okay, I have Flusterstorm for that. I'm going to let them Surveil first, and then Fluster this. Surprise. ERC's gone. I can fire or bolt the Ragavan in their hand. Death Shadow I'm a little worried about. I can ice it. Tread water against it. If they just like put Luris in hand right now, I'm worried. I'm gonna bolt this. If they have another Drown in the Lock, it taps them out on their turn. Alright, time to rip an answer to this card. Please. Spell Pierce revealed. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. I can snap Lightning Bolt or snap Prismatic Ending. I guess it's probably ending. Snapcaster Mage, get Prismatic Ending. I'm a mana short of stealing it with Archmage Charm, which would have been the really exciting play. But that was not available to me. 2 cards left in their hand, 3 after their draw step. One of them's Ragavan. They're also just a mana away from escaping Croxa, basically, whenever they get around to doing that. Expressive Iteration on the reload. Haven't even put Luris in their hand yet. They're just Vin Diesel over there, saving their Nas for when it matters. This Celestial Colonnade is close to lethal, though. Like, it's just 2 turns of cracking. Okay, I am just going to fire up and go. Oh, wait, I'm 1 short. Shit, I forgot that costs 5 to activate. All right, that I should have been... Yeah, I lost track of myself on that one. That should be a Steam Vents tapped in play. And here comes Croxa. Who's winning the race with Croxa? I can tap Croxa. I can tap one of their already tapped permanents to try to spike an instant speed answer to Croxa. I could fire their face, put them to 5, and then I just take 3. I go to 12. Then they attack for 9 next turn, plus the dash Ragavan. I could also just discard Fire Ice. There aren't a whole lot of counterspells left in my deck right now. And I couldn't ice their land because I knew they had Ragavan on the dash. Oh, what instants are in my deck that I could draw into? Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage. There's 1 counterspell in the deck. Shark Typhoon. Archmage Charm. Alright, I'm gonna ice one of their lands in response. Just draw a card. Alright, Mystic Gate. Not what I was looking for. Come on. That wasn't it. That was not what I wanted at all. I actually wanted that Mystic Gate. Alright, now I've lost. They still have that Ragavan in their hand that they've had the entire game. Luris, they're not even going to need that to win. Maybe Ragavan... Well, so like, if Ragavan gets to block, it absorbs 6 life. If it was in my hand, it would absorb 3 life for sure, but I lose that 3 life anyway if they find a discard spell. I lose the 6 life anyway if they have a removal spell. This Grixis deck is just so much more powerful than this Jeskai deck. No offense to the King Centaur or any fans of Jeskai or Blue Eye Control out there, but Just the Thoughtseize being able to check the card advantage, the steady damage that they deal throughout the lower curve they operate on. Deck is really, really good. I think that I can't block. I'm going to leave Ragavan in play because I think that swinging, connecting, and spiking a miracle is my only plan here. Their Ragavan just showed up to block. Prismatic Ending. I can attack. They block with their Ragavan, and then I end Kroxa. I can end their Ragavan connect. Yeah, I'm going to attack with Rag. If their hand is a counterspell, I just lose anyway. Even if their hand's not a counterspell, they can put Lurrus in their hand next turn, and then they're just doing it. Okay, Prismatic Ending. They're fetching. They have another Drown in the Lock. Is this the third one of the game? Oof. All right. Absolutely clinic of how to win a control mirror there. Like, the opponent played extremely well. They used their baubles to control their own draw rather than just like randomly know what I'm doing. They had that Ragavan in their hand the entire game. They like dashed it on turn 3, and now it's turn 11, and that they just replayed it. And I was holding up removal for it the whole time. Like, they just really danced around everything I was capable of doing. They checked in regularly with Thoughtseize. That Hymn to Turok was really fucked up. It hit the 2 best cards, which, I mean, there's a little bit of variance there. A Solitude or Shark Typhoon really turns this game in a different direction, but still, ouch. Absolute smashing. This Lurrus Grixis deck is really good. On the draw in the final round, I'm keeping my hand. It's got lands and spells. Got some cheap interaction, and then up into the mid-game interaction with the land drops to make it all happen. Well, just about on if we get time. Modern is just a really powerful format, and these hands that look completely bonkers might just be a step behind. Opponent is a Lurrus deck. Wait, didn't we play against Hammer this league? Did I just never notice that they were a Lurrus deck? They just never needed to get their thing. Yeah, I said last round that it was the first companion we're playing against, but we played against Hammer. Maybe they just didn't reveal they had to reveal Lurrus, but yeah, maybe they just never needed it, and I never noticed that they were a Lurrus deck consciously. Looks like we're playing against another Lurrus Watery Grave deck. Just horrible, horrible time here. Opponent is a fan of the channel. Thank you so much. Oh no. They're mill. Okay. Well, here's this. I do not have a sideboard for mill. There's no like Emrakul or Memory's Journey or like whatever it is people do. Gaia's thing. I'm gonna let the first crab trigger resolve. Guess I should just Lightning Bolt, take my medicine here. They get to fetch again in response. If they have the counter spell, Drown in the Lock, I can untap and ending the crab. Or it just dies. Yeah, horrible, horrible matchup. Very Time Raveler. Do I like you? I think I do. Put Teferi in. This at least lets me play around Archive Trap for the entire game. Like, they just can't Archive Trap me. Unless I search on their turn during a main phase. Oh, well, that's a way to make me do it. Fucking A. Oh, here comes the Archive Traps that I thought I just played around. Fuck my life. How many you got? Oh, there's another one. One of my Teferi Hero of Dominarias is still in the deck. Oh wow, and they get to Ancestral Recall. Let me just check this. One Teferi Hero. Yeah, Teferi Hero of Dominaria can like tuck himself and play around mill kind of, but also not really. That's a pretty big ask of a small percentage of the cards in my deck. And there's nothing in my deck that presents pressure. I guess this is what the sideboard Ragavans are for. Even that seems unlikely to get the job done. Other Visions. Sure, whatever. They already have 5 cards in hand. What's 8? Me. It's all the same. Wimps the Unthinkable. I'll counter that one. He played a land and then didn't play a spell. And I thought for sure we were getting doubled up on there. I don't really want to draw cards, but I also need to find lands and other Teferi. I'm going to draw a card here. Steam Fence. Life total doesn't matter, might as well put that in. Fractured Sanity does checkmate Teferi, gets around it, and they just milled the other Teferi. Okay, I'm dead. This is another problem with blue-white as an archetype. The sit back and wait game plan is just completely heinous against mill. It's just like not even close to competitive. This matchup's so bad. Lightning Bolt kills crabs. Ragavan applies pressure. Dispute and Flusterstorm can fight over their mill things. Supreme Verdict doesn't matter. Spreading Seas doesn't matter. Void Mirror can stop Archive Trap. Can I bring in a 2-drop to fight over like a Aura in their deck that I might not be able to cast without turning on their card? I don't know. It's probably worth having. Jace. I mean, in some world where I stick Jace and then start just aggressively plussing it, I could win a mill race, or I could Jace myself to get some extra turns if I have a full hand. I don't know. It's not pretty. And Fire Ice also isn't very good. Shark Typhoon applies pressure. Prismatic Ending kills crabs. I think one of the crabs is an 0-2 and the other's an 0-3. I should probably look that up to make sure. Because if both crabs are 0-2s, then Fire is a lot better. Yeah, Ruin Crab's an 0-3, Hedron Crab's an 0-2. I think this is what I'm doing. Solitude can also hit a crab. Do I need that? Do I want that? Solitude can also just attack, which might be important. Okay, I think this is the best deck I can present, though I'm not happy about it. Maybe I bring in Sanctifier Infect literally because it can attack, because it has power and toughness. If there's a game 3, I'll reconsider that. Got a mulligan this one. Come on, Dak. All right, mulligan again. Okay, now we're in. Gotta send 2 cards to the bottom. Strategic mulligan. Put 2 extra cards in my deck that they have to mill. We'll keep this. I think I want to tuck Flooded Strand and Prismatic Ending. Though Ending, if they have that orb is unbeatable. All right. Snapcaster. Keep 2 lands, enough to dash Rag with. I have my colors. See if this plan pays off. Sheldock Isle, okay. So Ragavan's going to connect at least once here. Let's dash my guy. In you go, fella. Exiled Field of Ruin. Good. Get that out of here. I have a mana up. I can bolt a crab and continue connecting with Rag. Don't have a crab. Dash the Rago. You go, big guy. Exile Glimpse the Unthinkable. I don't think milling them matters. Yeah, I'm just not going to cast that. I'm going to sit on the treasures for mana. Fractured Identity. Okay. They hit one of my Teferis immediately. Now they have black mana that they can use to counter or kill my Ragavan. Really like to draw a counterspell this turn. Bummer. Alright, fella. Keep it going. Maybe they don't have it. In you go. Alright, connected. Ruin Crab. Do I want that? Maybe. Yeah, I'll put that into play. I don't know if milling them is good. Like, they are a Lurrus deck. They also, like, get paid off their own Visions of Beyond. But I don't know. Yeah, the Sheldock Isle is sitting in play too. There's weird shit going on here. I'm not going to crack this fetch land straight into Archive Trap. I'd like a counterspell or a Void Mirror before I move on that. Each opponent mills 14. You got me. That's so many cards. My other Teferi's gone. Mill you, I guess. Surgical Archive. Dash Rag. Maybe milling them is my only strategy. Just taking over their mill. Surgical Extraction, okay. That's actually great. I can exile Archive Trap. And then I get to play the game normal. Hit your Archive Traps. Show me 3 in your hand. Let's do it. They have Force of Negation. Tasha's Heinous Anus. 3 Visions of Beyond. Sweet Jesus. Trap. And there's 2 Drowns in this deck. I don't have to play around that a whole lot. Bloodchief's Thirst. They do have a removal spell in here. 2 Snapcasters. Okay. But I have to Deluge on their turn, or else they can force it. They're going to cast Tasha here. I'm going to Delusion Response. Oh, my Steam Fence is already gone. Cool. Let's mill you in response. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Deluge. Archmage Charm and... Alright, Void Mirror doesn't matter anymore. Archmage Charm is good. That's a counter spell. And Shark Typhoon is damage. Alright, I'll take those. And let's see how bad this is. Got 14 cards out of my deck. I guess I had the Archmage Charm I could have used there. Why didn't I use it? It's unclear. It's unknown. We'll never know. They're at 11. They probably are going to Ancestral Recall here. Yep. 2 counter spells in my hand now. Dash Ragavan. Keep this damage coming. 15 cards in my deck. They can Shelldock Isle next turn also. Exile Darkslick Shores. That doesn't matter. Okay, they're at 8. Shark Typhoon plus Lightning Bolt could get it done if I live that long. Fractured Sanity, counter that spell with Counterspell. Mystical Dispute. I will pay 3. Counter that, pay the 3. Okay. Survive that exchange. They can still draw 3 cards. Luckily that doesn't target a player. They have 8 life left. Red, white, dash Ragavan. Let's keep it going. Put some damage on you. They're at 6. I exiled a Tasha. Okay. Ruin Crab you. Their deck has pretty low mana curve. Is this the plan, though? I know they have Force of Negation in their hand. Yeah, I don't think this is the play. They have 17 cards in their deck. Mana value 20 or more. I could bait out the Force of Negation on this. Give myself another turn to attack. I'll try it. Tasha's. Do I fight over this and hope that it just wins the game somehow? I'm gonna try it. Alright, let's hope that their mana value of their deck is less than 20. Oh, they had 3 cards left. My life is pain. Couldn't find one more land somewhere to get them with their Ruin Crab. Alright, one of us is dead. Let's find out who. They can't cast that Ancestral Recall in their hand. There's 14 cards in my deck. I have Lightning Bolt in my hand. There's 1 in my graveyard and 1 in exile, so those are gone. Where are my Snapcasters? 1 there. If they have a Snapcaster. Okay, they're gonna Fraying Sanity me for lethal. Yeah, I guess taking the Mad Swing there was a mistake. So there goes my deck. Yeah, I was 1 land drop away from killing them with Mill. Kind of funny. Alright, whatever. Bolt you on the way out. I guess if you're going to play a deck like this, you need a plan for Mill, because that was pretty embarrassing. Yep, not really a chance there. The deck doesn't apply enough pressure, even with the Ragavan sideboard. Wow, 1 and 4. That was tough. I think, like, I've shared these thoughts as the games were unfolding, but if a deck like Mill exists that you genuinely can't beat, and you could dedicate 1 card in your sideboard to it, you probably should. Like, just put 1 Emrakul or whatever in the sideboard, just some shit that shuffles back into your deck when it gets milled. Fixing bad matchups, if it costs you half your sideboard, is not a good plan usually. Like, normally I will just ignore some, like, 70-30 matchup. If it would take me 6 or 7 cards to bring it to 50-50, that's just not worth it in a big field. But a deck like Mill is so bad. Like, it's probably like 90-10, and it would take 1 card in the sideboard to completely swing it. I would be interested in playing 1 copy of such a card. As far as the field at large, the Lurrus control decks, like the way that Thoughtseize Lurrus deck just danced around everything we were capable of doing, that was harsh. Like, I think if you are inclined to play a control deck, the Grixis Lurrus deck is probably a better one overall. Just having that lower curve that to combat the other Lurrus decks, like it against Mill, you don't even need a sideboard card if you're the Lurrus deck, because you have Dragon's Rage Channeler, Ragavan, and Death Shadow that can just clap the Mill deck while they're farting around putting your deck into the graveyard. They're helping you in a lot of ways because they're fueling your Lurrus and your DRCs. and your Kolaghan's commands and your Snapcaster mages, etc. Like that just fixes that. Against Hammer Time, you have a lot more low curve interaction. But we're not here to talk about Grixis Laris. We're here to talk about blue-white. It felt like I was like half a turn behind most of the time. A lot of the blue-white control decks have like 4 Solitude and some number of Chalice of the Void in the main. Like, and they're playing like Kahira as their companion because they don't have Snapcaster Mage. They just are on like 4 Solitudes. Like, I definitely felt like the early turns, even with the lightning bolts, the fire ice, and the prismatic endings, I felt like we weren't quite keeping up in the early turn, and then it was too late by mid game. Like you slam Jace and you get to brainstorm once or bounce one thing, then it just dies. Or same thing with Teferi. Like more than once we played Teferi, activated it, and then it died. I think that you need to fill in the early part of the curve more than this current build of the deck is doing. And 2 more Solitude might help with that. Have to check the white count that's actually supported. Or lean harder into Lightning Bolt. Just like the Fire Ices are cute, but maybe just have 4 Bolt, 1 Fire Ice in the main deck to make sure you can interact on those early turns. Or 3 and 2 in the other direction. Just something like that, probably better. We never really got to a point where we were able to leave up Counterspell. Like, Counterspell wasn't a relevant card until like turn 6 or 7 in the games where it was relevant at all. Because we were on the back foot so often, spending 2 mana or 3 mana on a removal spell just to not lose to the board. Like, you never really get to leave up mana for Counterspell. And the decks that really care about Counterspell have Cavern. Like, Cavern's just in basically any deck that can play it in Modern. So there's some tension here. I'm not sure exactly how to rebuild these early curve part of the deck, but I think you need to play to the board a little more with a little cleaner removal, and then let your planeswalkers take over in the late game, because there's a lot of late game here, and the early game we're just a little bit behind to the point where our powerful mid game doesn't get to stabilize and catch up. That's how I feel about that. King Centaur, thanks for asking me to play this deck. It is a lot of fun. I don't mind not winning a whole lot. That's whatever, as long as we learn something. And I think we did learn that this deck wants to interact a little earlier, a little differently than it is. Like, Counterspell is not a catch-all because so many powerful things happen for 0, 1, and 2 mana in Modern that Counterspell, especially on the draw, might just be too late to even be relevant. And the board, like Teferi, Jace, and Big Teferi, need a stable board to be able to do their thing and really pull ahead, especially Memory Deluge. That's even worse than the Planeswalkers because it can't bounce a creature itself. Like, you're just paying for to not impact the board. If you want to get into this top end stuff, you need to be able to deal with opponents' low end stuff. The full set of Solitude, I think, would get you there. Some Lightning Bolts, maybe over some number of the counter spells. I'm going to wrap it up there. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, check out the merch, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time.